do I believe that Ondo could hypothetically reach the price of $20 this year in 2025? I think maybe. I could see a scenario where that does happen, even though that's not financial advice. The reason being is because we do know that, historically speaking, altcoins, as a worst case scenario, they typically peak around 18 months after a Bitcoin halving event. Otherwise, basically a year and a half. Now, are we even a year removed from the last Bitcoin halving event? No, we're not, because, the last Bitcoin halving event happened back in April of last year. So again, we're not even a year removed from then. So when you take a look at it, again, 18 months, that would actually mean around October this year. I think, if anything, again, it showcases that as a worst case, there could still be ways to go. Now, history isn't always going to repeat itself. I totally understand that, but I think, if anything, it is a good benchmark. Now, it could maybe happen a little bit later, which is fine because I'll accumulate more Ondo anyways. But if it happens a bit earlier, of course, that'd be awesome. So really, any scenario I take a look at, it doesn't seem so bad. Now, why could this bull run be so special, though? It's because if we take a look back in 2021, that was a very special year. A lot of altcoins really showcase what they're capable of. But actually, during that bull run, right, even during the peak of the 2021 bull run, there was roughly around 300 million crypto owners. Now, we have over 600 million. I mean, just think about that, right? Over 600 million. That's basically double that. We're not even in May or June yet, and we already have this many crypto owners. I mean, just imagine, let's say once altcoins start doing a lot better in May, June, July, the amount of crypto owners could really just increase in this very fantastic way, much like what we saw back in 2021. But then I think maybe this time around could be a lot better. Who knows? Only time will tell. But the way I take a look at it is that it just really gives me the vibe that this bull run could be so special. And some people like to complain and say, oh yeah, Ondo's not even at the price of $5 yet. What are you on about? Well, here's the thing. Take a look back in 2021. Back then, right, during that February, March time, were things boring? Absolutely. A lot of people thought about giving up. But those who didn't give up, they really saw that amazing bull run. So when I take a look at this time around, it really kind of feels like no different. Again, history isn't always going to repeat itself. However, it does tend to rhyme. And I feel like it's a little bit rhyming as of right now because from what I've seen, a lot of people, they want to give up. A lot of people, they want to leave. And it's totally their choice. But from what I've seen is that usually when the sentiment is really bad, that's typically when, soon things could hypothetically make a different move, right? Maybe upwards. Only time will tell. But again, I've seen this time and time again. And that's why I don't want to give up on Ondo. Now, why is Ondo a good project, though, despite all that? It's because it's this fantastic project that I believe has or should I say could have a very massive presence in the DeFi space, aka the decentralized finance space. Now, how are they planning to do that? It's even been stated that at Ondo, they design institutional grade platforms, assets, and infrastructure to bring financial markets on chain. So that's very impressive. Now, also, they have a very amazing platform that is allegedly not available in the US currently, but I still want to mention it anyways because you take a look at, for instance, this platform allows individuals to buy, sell, and trade thousands of tokens backed one-to-one by traditional stocks, bonds, and ETFs. So quite essentially, it's like thousands of RWAs on just one platform. Now, some people may be thinking, okay, what is RWA, right? RWA is real world asset. That's what it stands for. Now, why is this special though? Because if you take a look at RWA tokens, for instance, they are digital representations of physical assets on the blockchain. People may think that this is kind of pointless because for what, right? But then if you take a look at what these assets could be, it can, for instance, range from real estate, which of course a lot of people like. It can also be something like art, which a lot of people do like as well, right? Not to mention, it can even be like financial instruments like bonds and stocks. Of course, I'm just naming a few here, but I think some people are beginning to get the point here because I think this, if anything, showcases that RWA, again, let's say RWA tokenization, this could be a massive thing moving forward. Now, there's still a lot to prove, not to mention as well, it's not like Ondo is the only thing that's focused on it, but I do believe that it's special nonetheless. Also, let's take a look at, for instance, Ondo currently has a total value locked of over $500 million, which is, of course, very impressive. A lot of people may think that it's not the best, which it isn't, right? Of course, I'm totally aware of that, but the way I view it is that it's heading in the right direction nonetheless. And when people like to complain that Ondo doesn't have the best adoption, well, it doesn't really matter, in my opinion, currently, because that's not a determining factor as to how well a project could do during a fully fledged bull run. Because we take a look at, for instance, Solana, right? A very amazing layer one blockchain. it's not like Solana has the best adoption out there. The adoption is good. Like, for instance, people love Solana, and so do I. I think it's a very good layer 1 blockchain, but it doesn't mean the adoption is the best. So again, why do people like it though? And why is it done so well? It's because a lot of people perceive it to do well in the future, which is why they believe in it. Nowadays, people more so believe in the narrative as opposed to what something is in the current form, so to speak, or is in the current form, I should say. And when it comes to Ondo, again, when I take a look at this could really have good potential moving forward in terms of adoption, right? I'm not guaranteeing that it's going to grow or anything like that, but hypothetically, maybe. And I think sometimes people do care about that. So when people like to argue that, hey, the adoption isn't the best, it doesn't really matter in my opinion, as long as the narrative is very amazing. And I think the narrative is great, at least when it comes to Ondo. Now, let's take a look at, for instance, one of the main driving forces, I think, for Ondo moving forward could be something called the Ondo chain. Now, there's still a lot to prove when it comes to, again, the Ondo chain, but it has the right concept because this allegedly is purpose-built for institutional grade RWAs, again, real-world assets. So this could be massive for, let's say, institutions who are looking to get into this type of stuff, right? Enterprises, whatever the case may be. And what I like about Ondo is that they have this mindset where they want to focus on more than just the retail market. Because other projects out there, they only want to focus on one market, like the retail market. But there's this other market that could hypothetically be great as well, right? The enterprise market. Why not be focused on both? That's the way to take a look at it. In Ondo, they understand that. They understand diversification. So again, it's a very good project. I think it's being run by the right people. And not to mention, why is $20 not too much to ask for, in my opinion? Is because when you take a look at it, if it were to go to that price, considering current circulating supply, market cap would be around $63 billion, which isn't that bad, really. I mean, we've seen Dogecoin reach over 80 billion back in 2021. We've seen, something like BNB that year reach over 100 billion. And keep in mind, when you take a look at something like BNB, people like to say, oh, the BNB smart chain ecosystem. Well, here's the thing. According to Crypto.com research, back in 2023, slightly over 2% of the crypto hacks that happened that year actually occurred on the BNB smart chain ecosystem. That's not good news, in my opinion. I mean, that's kind of bad, actually. So if something like BNB, especially back in 2021, was able to reach over $100 billion market cap, Dogecoin that year reached over 80 billion, I just don't see why around 63 billion is too much to ask for. At least that's the way I view it, especially this time around, again, like I mentioned earlier in the video, with the sheer amount of crypto owners and everything like that. Not to mention, we take a look at the Bitcoin ETF, the Ethereum ETF, the number of institutional investors, the amount of enterprise adoption. I think this one can be very special, but really just is a waiting game. I get it's a little bit boring, but you know what? I'm waiting, and it is what it is, right? The way I take a look at it is that either my cash is sitting in a bank account, which it probably isn't really going to do anything, let's be honest, right? Let's say it's sitting in my savings account. What is that going to do, really? It's not going to change my life. Well, I'm willing to take a chance. Now, granted, there is a lot of risk, or just like with anything in general, really. But the way I take a look at it is that I'm willing to take this chance. I could be wrong. I just don't know. But I'm, again, willing to take the chance because I think this burn could be so special. I think Ondo is that amazing. And at the price of $20, I really don't see why not in 2025, hypothetically, because all signs are showcasing that this burn could be very amazing. And also 2025 could be very amazing, which is why I'm still staying patient. And again, $20 wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. I greatly appreciate it. It's been the Captain, and I'll catch you all in the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.